tomorrow on July 1st. We're asking you how you're feeling about Canada Day this year. Local number, it's 514-597-4500. Robin is in NDG. Hi, Robin.
Hi there. So you asked what I'm doing tomorrow, and I am one of those white people that will be attending the march for the Indigenous children that were, I won't say killed, although some of them probably were, but certainly died under questionable circumstances in residential schools and were buried in unmarked graves. And I will be documenting that on photos and video, as is my habit, so that the protest will be available for anyone to watch later. I'm not that proud of being Canadian these days, and what I would like to actually propose, based on what we've already said here, is that Canada Day, from here on in, be a day where we look at both sides of the coin, where we look at the good things, but we also look at the bad things, in order to make Canada a better place to live in. Because I can tell you right now, in the 21st century, there are serious problems, and it's not just problems affecting racialized people. As a white person, I can tell you that my rights are not respected in Canada. We have this Charter of Rights and Freedoms, but the police, the Crown prosecutors, the politicians regularly find ways of disrespecting and undermining those rights.
Okay.
Soldiers fought and died over food.
We got a break here for news headlines. You mentioned the event happening in Montreal. We're going to be coming up with one of the organizers of tomorrow's rally here in Montreal. We're going to talk with Nakasep. That's coming up a little bit later, in a few minutes, in the second portion of the program. On Radio Noon today, we're asking you about Canada Day. We're asking you how you are feeling about Canada Day amid calls to cancel the celebrations, to do things differently, to reflect other people saying, well, there is still a lot to celebrate in the country. So we're asking you, how are you feeling about it all? 514-597-4500. Toll free, it's 1-877-597-4500.
So that was my little Canada Day message on Radio Noon today. I definitely had a thing or two to say. I had more things to say, but as you can see, I sort of got shunted off. I was obviously put on just before the news, so obviously that news situation cut in, limiting how much I could say. But they could have arranged for me to say a bit more after the news was over, but didn't. And I had actually intended to come back to Indigenous issues and finish up with that. There were things I wanted to suggest that we can do for reconciliation. I certainly believe that there's more that needs to be done, and not just in terms of practical, how can I put it, practical things like housing and clean water and this, the basic necessities of life and that stuff. There's also the whole issue of we can use the term cultural genocide, I think, the erasure, suppression of Indigenous culture by the Canadian government. And I do believe that the government can and must do more on that front in terms of helping Indigenous peoples to reclaim what was lost, to recover what was lost. There are ways and means of recovering, not everything, no doubt, but there's plenty of things that can be recovered and resurrected, if you want to use that term. So I did want to come back to that. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to, but at least I was able to make my point about the fact that even your average Canadian, white Canadian, we're the top of the heap, as it were, in terms of social standing and so on, or at least we're supposed to be in terms of the current. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that that's sort of the status quo, shall we say? Even plenty of regular white Canadians, they're having their rights trampled on, protesters, activists, whistleblowers, and so on and so forth. There's lots of really not very good stuff that shouldn't be happening, that definitely is happening in 21st century Canada. I could even talk about the numerous police women in various Canadian police forces that are victims of sexual harassment and even sexual assault, who were basically silenced and muzzled by the police departments, and even worse, even punished in various ways. There's all kinds of other issues I could go on about. I'm not even going to listen because there's so many. Actually, there's so many other things that Canada's doing that just aren't right. Things that are happening in Canada that just aren't right, that need to be addressed, and are not being properly addressed by politicians. To say nothing of the legal system, criminal justice system, or indeed non-criminal justice system. So that's it. A bit of a rant, and we'll wrap this up. I could rant a lot more, I can tell you, but I can tell you I am not terribly proud of being a Canadian these days, because Canada isn't what it claims to be, is what it comes down to. It's a Potemkin village, puts up this nice facade, but if you look behind the facade, well, it's another story. That's what it comes down to.